Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Monday night call. This is your home base call. And I'm so excited to be with you tonight because I can feel the excitement. I can feel the curiosity, and I'm right there with you because our Fab Five national marketing directors have been hard at work preparing systems that they are so anxious to share with us. And these systems are called Basic Training Boot Camp, guys. And so to kick it off tonight, and we're going to go right into it, is the amazing Amber Weaver. This is the first part of a three-part series that she's going to do on the art of selling. And so pen and paper ready, guys? Here's Amber Weaver. Take it away, Amber.
Thank you so much, Terry. Well, yes, you guys, I want to just jump right in because there is so much to share with you tonight. You know, as I get started, the first thing that I really want to just ask you is, when you saw the topic, the art of selling, was there anything in you that kind of just felt like a little squirmish? You know, were you thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to be a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson. Does that word make you nervous? Or is it something that you just embrace? And we're going to talk about that. And as we begin to talk about that, I just want you guys to know that this is a boot camp. And in addition to being a national marketing director for the Juice Plus company, for the last 10 years, I've led fitness boot camps for women. And I can tell you this, it's not fun to be sore, but it's the workouts and it's that soreness that actually leads to the results. And there are lots of programs out there that they reward people for coming. And I want to be just really open and honest. You know what I tell my ladies? You know what your reward will be for showing up to my boot camp? Results. And so I want to challenge you tonight to mark your calendar. I think Holly challenged you in that last week. On the calendar, every single Monday night, 8:00 p.m. sharp, come to boot camp. Let that be your motivation, is the results that are going to come out of the things that you're going to be trained on. And so tonight we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about training, sales training. And one thing that I know is that training is so important to our business. Terry will always just be so open and honest. She says, I'm a forever student, right? You're forever learning. And here's the deal, you guys. The day that you quit training, the day that you quit learning, that's the day that you might as well go ahead and put a closed sign up. You might as well go ahead and tell people, I'm tapping out, I'm done, because that is vital to this business. It's vital in this sales industry and in this sales culture. And so let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. We are salespeople. And let me go ahead and take it a step further. Every person that you come into contact with who makes any type of income is a salesperson. Whether they are selling an idea, whether they are selling a product, when you go to an interview to try to get a job, you're selling yourself, your skills. You know, you dress a certain way to try to land that job. We position ourselves to try to achieve whatever that outcome is that we desire. And so I think the first step really with sales training is just to go ahead and embrace the truth, which is that we are salespeople. We have a product that we want to sell. We want to make an income. We want, and we have the opportunity to build a business. And so again, you guys, this training is going to be very directed, as with all of the trainings that you're going to get from all of us, to those of you who are wanting to build a business. That being said, if that's not you, we have tons of resources, tons of other trainings out there that can help you. But I still want to encourage you to show up, because you just never know when something might flip the switch and you might all of a sudden say, you know what, I didn't really realize that this was the potential that was here. So we're going to dig in, and I told you last week that I would start by telling you what a $7,000 green Escada dress had to do with sales training. Before I was in the like fitness industry and the health industry, My actual degree and background is in human resource management. And after I graduated from college, I had one goal, and that goal was to work for Neiman Marcus. And the reason that that was my goal was because in all of my time studying human resource management, Neiman Marcus was the case study. They were the company that had the best practices. We studied their company over and over and over to really learn how to be just a successful professional within human resource management. And so I ended up knowing that was my goal. They're a little slow on their hiring process. I had applied for a job while I was at the end of college, and it just took time. And so I'd already taken another job, and that job was a great job. But I ended up moving from public sector into private sector. And so I went from working, you guys, for Collin County government. I was doing performance management there. So imagine, motivating. Y'all think sometimes, oh, it's hard to motivate a volunteer army of your team. Imagine motivating people who were elected into their position, but there's no way you could get rid of them or fire them even if you wanted to, right? So that was my first job. And I left and went into the private sector. I went to work for Neiman Marcus, and there, if you hired a person to work in your store, they were called a sales associate. There was no hiding it. That's what you did. If you wanted a job there, it was known you were going to be selling the merchandise and the product at that store. And so my first day to land this job, you can imagine, here I am, a small, young I say small, probably shouldn't have said that word, from a small town, little East Texas girl. And I'm going into the big city, and I just remember, walking into that store, it's a little overwhelming, it's a little intimidating. And so I go up into my office on the 3rd floor with my boss, and they're just gonna hang out with me for a while. And so on my first day, they're like, hey, we're gonna go downstairs. There's a little fashion show going on. And so we go downstairs, and the store is not open. And I'm sitting in these chairs that have been just placed out for all of our sales associates. And Escada had brought their vendors in, and they were just basically having a fashion show, people were modeling their line for that season. And there was this dress, you guys, and I will never forget this dress. It was so beautiful. It was a green dress. And obviously everyone that was down there involved in sales wanted to know about this dress. And during this time, they would educate you on their products. And so a salesperson, it was actually the head of our public relations team, he said, hey, how much is that dress? And the girl from Escada looked at him and all of us, and she said, $7. And my boss just politely leaned over, and in my ear, she said, 1,000. Because there, they don't speak like how we would say 7,000. Everything is 7, 14, and you just know based on what the product is, does that mean 700 or 7,000? Now, what does that have to do with this? Well, last week I talked to you about just divine dissatisfaction, you guys. Okay, what am I missing? And sometimes in our business, that's a good place to be. What can I do better? Or what am I not doing? Or what's that thing that if I just tweak it just a little, it could change everything? And so I was in that place, and one of the questions that I began to ask myself was, if I could train people to sell a $7,000 dress that a woman was going to wear one time, what is the deal? Why am I struggling to train a group of people to sell the most researched nutritional product in the world that could actually change someone's life? That's extremely affordable. And so I began to realize that that was a gap for me and my business. And I don't want to speak for everyone here, but I think that it could be a slight gap for a lot of us. And I think the first thing that we have to think about is mindset. It's embracing that truth that we are salespeople. I want you to think for just a second about selling, and we're going to talk about a few bullet points. I want to give you just an overview of where we're going to be going, because we're going to be talking and having this conversation for 3 weeks. So it's not just tonight and that's it. And I'm going to try not to like fire hose you. But at the same time, there is a lot of info. And so if you can just pull nuggets here and there, you know, thank goodness this is recorded. We can go back and watch anytime. And my big hope is that this will spur you on to do even more in-depth training and sales training and just listening to people who train on this in the future on your own. But we've got to know our product. We've got to position our product. We need to be able to handle or to follow up with people. We need to know how to follow up. And we need to, in the midst of that, know how to handle objections. And then we've got to know how to close the sale. And so those are kind of some big nuggets that we're going to be talking about. And in addition to those things, I'm going to help you to know as a salesperson how to make sure that no one falls through the cracks. I mean, what is that like to just be able to make sure that that low-hanging fruit or that person that you've talked to that you've wanted for so long to be your customer, that you just don't forget to follow up with them? Because let's face it, a lot of us are doing this business on the go as we do life. So that being said, I want you to just think about a pencil. And if I were to ask you to sell a pencil, okay? Now, this actually is a real life situation that I've done before. So I'll just tell you guys, I tend to get bored with things. This is why this business is so wonderful for me, because I get to work with new people all the time. But I've worked for corporate America. I've also taught business and marketing. And I get to help people to overcome their fear of public speaking. And so I work with a lot of university business students. And the reality is this, and I'll just say this here as a somewhat blanket statement: you can know everything that you need to know. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you cannot communicate effectively, no one will know that you're the smartest person here. So communication is the key. And one of the things that I can tell you that is so attractive is excitement. If you are excited about what you're doing, you know, people are going to look at you, whether they're looking at you like you're crazy or they're looking at you because they want to be doing what you're doing. All eyes will be on you. And in the sales game, that's what matters. So y'all know, like some people, I almost said names, but I won't. They have that whole motto, you know, bad publicity is still publicity. Now, I wouldn't go that far, but I will say excitement will turn heads. So, okay, let's think about a pencil. I'll never forget, I'm in with a group of business students. They're actually master's level students. They're going to go rock it out, you know, for huge Fortune 500 companies. And so we're working on their communication skills, and we're working on them being able to speak as an expert. And I'll give you guys in the course of these trainings some tips and tricks. But here's the deal. We just gave the example or to them. I'm like, hey, I want you to sell me this pencil. You're an expert, but you have to sell it. And I'll never forget, there was this one student, they got up first and they wanted to tell me every feature of the pencil. You know, it's a number 2 pencil. They don't have lead in them anymore. They have like graphite and all this stuff. And you need the number 2 because it's Scantron, you know, all these things. It was like a lot of technicality type stuff. It's yellow. I mean, and I shouldn't even, I'm kind of making that face because that's what it felt like when I was listening to their spill, when I was listening to them sell this pencil to me. It was just very, the details, the facts. And then I have this young female student get up, and this is what she says. I wrote it down because it was a quote, so I went and looked it up today. She says, "No one is perfect. That's why pencils have erasers." And she started her talk with that. And you guys, you could have heard a pin drop in the classroom. And what I realized was that, yes, we have to know our product, but it will never be all of that knowledge that we have. We don't use all of that to position it. Okay, so let's start with, and I'll loop back around to this. I'm going to kind of go at it backwards. We position our product by knowing the solution that our product solves. We don't sell Juice Plus or let me say this, you sell Juice Plus, but people don't buy Juice Plus. People buy a solution to their problem. So when she said, no one is perfect, that's why pencils have erasers. Do you see how that was like, hello, you're going to make a mistake? And there was kind of a double meaning to that hits you like on a deeper level. And so she was then selling that solution that a pencil would be able to solve. And so I want you to think about the solution that people are needing. Who is your target market? Okay, whenever if I were here and we worked for, let's just say, a car dealership, the way that I position a sports car that's very small will look very different to the way that I position a large Suburban that has a third row. So I'm not even going to my target market for a sports car is not a mom with 3 kids who play every sport out there that also has to like bring home their friends. I mean, the other day, someone said to me at a basketball game, what's that kid's name? I said, I don't know. I could tell you where he lives, but I don't know his name. Okay, so don't come to me. I'm not your target market if you're selling a little car, right? Because I deliver everybody home after practice. So I'm the mom that's going to need that third row. So you have to know who's your target and what problems do they have. For me, a lot of my target market, it's going to be the busy mom. The mom who wants to like feed her kids the right things, but really struggles. I was down to my last Juice Plus shake this week and my kids wanted it. And I told them no. And then I somehow like said, I'll take you to Sonic if you'll just leave this for me. I mean, I felt so guilty. But just like I was telling Derek, because he's at Taco Bell, just double up on your Juice Plus. Like that is a solution, guys, that even on our worst day where we're struggling in our health and we're feeling guilt, mom guilt or whatever, Juice Plus provides that solution. Okay, and it's not just peace of mind. Let's just dig into this for a second. Our world, especially in America, there is an epidemic that's going on related to our diet. And so very few people are getting 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And I would say way fewer, if anyone, is getting the variety. Now, we can know all of these things about Juice Plus, and we'll talk about that, but we don't want to use all of that knowledge that we have and like vomit on people. So remember when the guy's selling me the pencil and he's telling me it's yellow and it's a number 2 and it's all these technical things and it's this long and blah, 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 blah. It gets lost in translation. What is the solution that you're trying to solve? Who is your target market and what is the problem that they have? Here's what I know. I cannot quit my job to just like totally, have every meal prepped and it be perfect for my kids. I can't just turn our life upside down. We're looking for solutions that fit into the busy, fast-paced life that we have. And if you have time to yawn, you have time to take Juice Plus. That is a simple solution. It's the easy button. So position your product. Begin to listen to the people that you're interacting with and figure out what the problem is that they need solving. I'm not going to have the same conversation with a busy mom that I'm going to have with maybe like a woman I talked to today, and she's probably in her 80s. It's a very different conversation, but I can still know that she still needs help in her diet. And Juice Plus is 30 different fruits, veggies, and berries that we can put into our bodies every day that just helps us to bridge the gap. It's concentrated plant powders. Okay, from there, you guys, so I'm moving backwards because before I can position my product, I have to know my product. Okay, so I showed you a little bit of the difference in the way that we would talk about our product. And the reason I did that is because I want you to know your product, but I want you to know that you don't have to start out as an expert. And it doesn't really matter how long you've been in the business, you're still going to keep learning about food, because think about how just science is revealing so much every day to us. So like Terry's been talking about epigenetics forever, but now I'm reading about it in my fitness and nutrition magazines that come to my house, you know? And so just think about what we've just learned about gut health and the microbiome and all of these things within the last, 3 years, maybe, just in our community. That's going to continue to happen. So what I don't want, and the reason I started with positioning your product and selling a solution and really keeping it simple, is I don't want you to feel that taking the time to know your product is like, it doesn't need to slow you down. You don't have to be the expert today. Actually, the right way to do this business is to learn as you go. And so the people that I see who are the most successful, they're not going to stop and have to learn it all in this moment and then go. They're going to learn as they go. And with every objection, which we'll talk about later on, that's where they're learning. Think about life. You're not born knowing everything that you need to know. You learn as you go. And it's actually through those lessons, through the hard things, through the objections of life, that we grow the most. And so the same is true in our business. But you guys, every morning when I worked at Neiman's, I would do this thing. And this is kind of embarrassing, but I'm going to show you what it looked like. They weren't seeing my face, so it probably made it a little bit easier. I think the show, I'm not sure what it's called. Is it called Good Morning Vietnam? But y'all know the thing, like the radio. So I worked for Willow Bend. That was the store that I was at. And every morning we had we gathered our sales associates somewhere in that store. And I would get on our intercom, and no one had ever done this, but I thought it would be such a good idea. And I was kind of just joking. And then they were like, you've got to do this. And so I did. And it really just kind of caught on and became a thing. But I would get on the intercom and I would say, good morning, Willow Bend. And that's how I would get their attention. I'm on the intercom, And I would say, okay, guys, we're so excited about today. And I would tell them like the date and the time and the weather. And I would say, we're all going to meet in cosmetics, be downstairs, first floor, cosmetics, wherever at this time. And we would go down to cosmetics or wherever we were in the store, and there would be some sort of training every single day. We would have like a focus for our store, and we would have just a very short training. And that's how we equipped our sales associates. And so I want to challenge you to think about that, every day is an opportunity to learn. And you guys, I had to just ask myself, there are people who make $1 million plus a year in this business. If I am sitting on a business that could potentially have that much value, is it not worth my time to learn about the 5 products that we have out there? I mean, we don't have a catalog of products. And so I want to challenge you this week to begin to know your product, but to make sure that you know that as you share your product, you will be sharing in a very clear, simple way. And what you'll be sharing will be how to solve a problem. You'll be sharing a solution. And the solution that Juice Plus is solving. It's whole food nutrition. It's farm to capsule. Everything that you guys, that language, those one-liners, those trendy things that are being thrown out there at us. It's the most researched nutritional product in the world. We're so fortunate to not have to have really strong competition. It's more about us learning how to simplify our message. So tonight, we really focused on knowing your product and positioning your product. And I hope that you understand the difference. We know our product. We're always learning about it, always learning more about how food is impacting the body and the research that obviously we stand on, but we're able to sell a solution and to share that solution in a very simple, clear way. I want to leave you with this thought. Clear is kind. I read that this week. I'm not really sure, maybe Kathy Crockett or someone, I don't know. Clear is kind. Unclear is unkind. Learn to clarify your message and watch how things begin to change.
Thank you, Amber, so much. I have taken 3 pages of notes. I am blown away. I'm going to re-listen, and I just can't wait to hear what you have in store for us next week. Amber, magnificent training. Thank you. Can you see how blessed we are as an organization to have this caliber of training available to us? Thank you. All right, so what do we do now? You've all heard from your upline national marketing directors. We're going into our debriefing sessions. All right, so you know, if you're Jamie Cantrell's team, you know where to go. Amber's team knows where to go. David's Open knows where to go. If you're in My Open, if you're with Judy Strickler or Jen Henry Hageman, you stay right here. All right. Go to your debriefing sessions, and we will see you next Monday night, home base, right here. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you.